Hey gang, welcome back to the big board. Here we are having a look at DAK 2, an OCS title. If you're unfamiliar with OCS, it stands for Operational Combat Series from Multi-Man Publishing, or MMP as they prefer to be known as. But really this is a Dean Essick title, probably his magnus opus, is that what you say? For OCS, I think, back when he owned a company called The Gamers. Dean poured heart and soul into this one, and it shows in many ways. But what we have here today is a much more constrained, smaller scenario that fits on my table in my current living arrangements. And it also happens to commemorate today, 1st of July, but 1st of July 1942. You can probably guess what battle that is, the Battle of Alamein. The first battle of that. And I'm just going to move the camera now, and we'll jump into the little, whatever you call it here, the little dolly, so we can have a look at the whole map and see what's going on. Now here we have a slightly different situation than when you play the big campaign and you start out with all of 15th Panzer and all of 21st Panzer, and the 90th Light Division is, strong as well. And here we are dealing with much reduced forces, pretty much for both sides, although the Allies, the Commonwealth, do probably have a significant edge here, just in terms of command capability, supply, and then also just the volume of units that they have available to them on the map. So interesting little scenario. It's only 9 turns long, so it starts on 1st of July, ends on 26th July 42, and we only have to play on this one map, on map D. And if we look at the white boxes, actually that's not true. If we look at the red blocks, I should say, excuse me, these are the key locations that the Germans need to capture and hold for in order to win. I believe that's right. Let me just double check that. Or have I got it around the other way? I think I might have it around the other way. Indeed I do. 2619. Let's check where that bad boy is. Yeah, so these 3 hexes have to be controlled by the Commonwealth. These 5 hexes have to be controlled by the Axis. So the Axis need to capture these to win. For the Brits or the Commonwealth to win, they need to avoid that happening and maintain control of these 3 hexes as well. So that puts them under a bit of a pressure situation to make sure that they can actually achieve that, right? Because they've not only got to be defensive here, but they may have to potentially counterattack. So I haven't had a good look at the map in terms of the terrain yet, and there's not a lot of defensive stuff down. There's no mines yet, and there are none available actually. So there's one hedgehog here, one hedgehog there, and I think that's it. So it's going to be an interesting, it could be a little bit of a swirling battle. I'm hoping it's going to be somewhat maneuver oriented. But the other, so I haven't had a look to see what we've got, but we can see that we've got 90th here, 15th Panzer here, 21st Panzer is underneath Rommel's counter. So he's sitting on a hill here called Tel El Mapra, and this is the Kidney Hill here. And so they're sort of well situated to lunge either to the southeast or directly east and try and capture this hex right off the bat, or maybe assault into here. It's a tricky little situation, pretty tight quarters, all things considered. Not a lot of other forces in the backfield here that can be of significant use, although there are some AT weapons in this little stack that we could probably bring to bear. If we capture things, we can then hold them. Here's the other interesting thing that is missing for, well, there are 2 things that are going to make it hard for the Axis. Number one, 3 things. Number one, they don't really have a full fighting force. There's one very strong tank battalion in here that's a 10 rated unit, but you can see we've got some 9 rated units here. But there's going to be obviously, so a lack of armor, a lack of supply. There's very limited supply on the map. And then the big one is air. Let's have a look at the air forces for each side. So for the Commonwealth, nice stack of Blenheims. These little chappies here, fighter bombers, Wellingtons. I've got 3 of those there. Hurricanes, both Type 1 and Type 2. And the bow fighters as well are there, and Baltimore's. And then over on here, so quite a substantial force. But over here, the Axis have just 2. Well, they're fighter bombers, but they only have 4. I think it is 4 109s. No, 2 109s, and then 2 of these 202s, which are a pretty decent fighter, and then 88s and 87s. Just 4 of them in total, and 1 oh, never mind, that guy, the 111s. I forget how to pronounce that. Heinlein, I think it is. So significant disadvantage, I feel like, for these guys. They'll be outclassed in the bombing category, and if the air war goes well for the Allies, they may well pick up some wins here and knock out some of these weaker German aircraft out of the sky, or Italian aircraft out of the sky. So not sure how we're going to handle all this, but we're going to get stuck into it today, and I'll post this up for you guys to have a look at today, and we'll see what happens from here. So happy 1st of July. I'm looking forward to obviously celebrating the July 4th weekend with everybody. Hope your weekend goes well.